Our first story today is absolutely fascinating. It's about invention and innovation in human waste disposal. Now, before you raise your eyebrows, let me give you something to really surprise you. The Sulabh Shauchalaya movement started all the way back in 1974. Today employs more than 1 lakh of former scavengers, runs more than 10 lakh public toilets in the country, and is a major exporter to 20 countries. If those figures are impressive, our story today has even more in store for you.
This may look suspiciously like an excursion into the great Indian outdoors, but that is not the intent. These spaces you see double up as toilets for close to 50 million Indians. But the situation could have been far worse, and if you think that's not possible, let's get back a bit into time. The British installed sewerage and septic systems, but they were far too expensive for mass implementation. Scavengers were thus needed to handle human excreta manually, although they were looked upon with disdain. Then in 1974, Dr. Bindeshwar Pathak came up with his concept of Sulabh Shauchalaya. This quite simply was a scheme to build, run, manage and sustain a chain of public toilets across the country.
Initially, I used to go myself, house to house, to convince the beneficiary. And I used to say to them that you have to do nothing, just fill up a form. You have not to go to municipality or the corporation to take a subsidy or loan or to collect materials. I will do everything for you, and I will give guarantee for 5 years to rectify any defects occurred in the construction. So that convinced people.
The first thing Dr. Pathak did after careful study was to identify 2 problem areas with the existing bucket toilets. First, they wasted too much water, and second, they did not rule out manual cleaning. The solution he came up with was the twin pit bore technology. This is how it worked. Using a modified commode inclined at 45 degrees, this installation required only 2 liters of water for flushing instead of the 15 to 20 liters used previously. The waste flowed naturally into one of the 2 operational leach pits. Each pit took 4 to 5 years to be filled. As soon as one pit filled, the flow was directed to the other pit. By this time, the waste in the first pit would already have been converted to manure, thus eliminating the need for manual intervention. That done, the stage was set for innovation number 2. Dr. Pathak realized that he was now looking at a potential energy source. The next logical step then was setting up of biogas plants.
I have invented this biogas digester system where the homo excreta goes to biogas digester, it is decomposed, biogas is produced, and then you can use for burning lamp, warming bodies, or for cooking food. And when there is no electricity, you can generate energy and to convert to supply a street light.
A Gandhian himself, one of the key reasons for Dr. Pathak's drive was a desire to rescue scavengers from their despised profession. At the same time, the Sulabh movement was duty-bound to rehabilitate them, and so it did. This is 27-year-old Meera, just one of the 1 lakh ex-scavengers that Sulabh has rehabilitated across the country. She lives in a colony built by Sulabh in Alwar in Rajasthan. Like the rest of her community, she too has been given vocational training and a way out of a profession which till 5 years back was her only source of livelihood.
5 साल पहले मैं महिला में काम करती थी, उसके बाद मैं नई दिशा सुलभ सेंटर में आई। यहाँ पर मैं ब्यूटी पार्लर की ट्रेनिंग लेती हूँ। मुझे ये काम करके बहुत खुशी है और मैं चाहती हूँ यहाँ ट्रेनिंग लेके मैं अपना अलग से रोजगार खोल सकूँ।
Sulabh was designed as a self-sustaining project. While land is provided by the state governments, local bodies or sponsoring agencies take care of the construction costs, and maintenance gets covered by the pay-per-use model that Sulabh piloted 30 years ago. Charging between 1 and 2 rupees per use, Sulabh earns enough to generate a surplus that gets pumped back into the system that enables the running of schools and rehab centers for scavengers. With a $20 million annual gross revenue, today the Sulabh model is being emulated by many private companies. Dr. Pathak though says that profiting from or ownership of his idea was never a priority.
Everybody who comes from outside the country, first question asks from us, are they patented? I said, no, they are not patented, because these are the concepts. We want that everybody in the world should adopt these technologies. Generally, corporate sector, they don't do it like this. They want not to show, not to inform the public. They want to sell the materials. But what I would like to tell them, that it depends upon your product and your efficiency to sell. Nothing can debar you from giving information to others. And if you share information, you will lose your business. I don't think so.
And there certainly are a lot of ideas going around. Another innovation that Sulabh can take pride in is the waterless urinal, which can be used up to 5,000 times. Today Sulabh has over 200 offices across the country that offer all products and services under one roof. Sulabh products are now exported to 20 countries, and to date it has installed over 1.2 million toilets in the country.